Hello there. This is Team Screaming Activity, and we're back. Well, I'm back with more Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Last time we finally dealt with our crew, talked to them about, well, their lives and their experiences, and now we can finally move on to our next destination. Hopefully we can reach it before anything happens. Oh my. Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you.
Vigdis pauses as if listening to something.
It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Avasarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. I've been talking about getting to the prison planet for last 2 episodes, I think, and we still can do it. Always something happens. No, well, let's see what the fuss is about. And there's no voice acting. Fair enough.
The everyday sounds of the bridge are disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice, the loudest of all.
That is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of highborn brat out on a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant.
The young woman standing before Abelard strives with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say,
I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain, not the least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb her. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence towards a high-ranking officer will be logged on your personnel file without delay.
Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avril Avent, requesting permission to speak.
Vent falls silence and then adds rashly,
on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. You may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Having 2 officers bickering in full view of the bridge is unacceptable. I'm sorry, Lord Captain. I thought the drastic times called for drastic measures.
Vent exclaims hotly.
This matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks on orders to crush the workers' strike by any means necessary. But I'm convinced that the step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one of the senior officers.
Vent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard, in no hurry to intervene, lets out a skeptical huff.
Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Viserion and to intervene in what's happening on lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hand.
Wendt reels off the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she finished, she casts an anxious glance at Abelard, then at you.
Okay. There's an insurrection in the makings aboard my ship and no one has informed me.
I would not deem it a problem worthy of a rogue trader's attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we even had a revolutionary leader rise up who dared to establish workers' rule across the entire ship. It took a month to restore order, but even 8 years later, we were still battling rumors that a hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against the tyranny once more.
Abelard scoffs.
Needless to say, the rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. So, workers are trying to gain their rights, and we are going to smack them down like a true capitalist. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries more weight than a salvo of 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addresses the malcontents directly, she will quell the unrest. I dread to think what problems you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up brawl in mess room. I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your ladyship, sending a hit squad to crush the rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it.
How did this start?
The situation could boil over at any minute, so I give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who'd been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported it up the chain immediately, arranged for cleansing rites to be performed, and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tension between enforcers and workers to a head.
Where does Seneschal Viserion come into all this?
I shall explain. Abelard intones grimly.
I beg you to hurry. Time is running out.
I will not hurry. Since my competency is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There is an established order to the way things are done on this ship, and one of the pillars of this system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so of course when I received information about cultists hiding on lower decks, I took the matter in hand. So long as I live, not one of the vermin who murdered Theodora von Valentius will find refuge on her ship.
You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Viserion. Arrests, interrogations, mass punishments for entire sectors. It has driven the people to the brink.
Van says bitterly.
Now there is strikes on the lower decks in Depot 4. To be precise, 3 worker clans are involved, but many more are passively supporting them. The situation could degenerate into all-out insurrection, but when I reported my concerns, the only response I received was an order to dispatch an assault unit and crush the strike with maximum force.
Abelard, what do you have to say to all this?
I see no need to add anything. I acted with the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your protectorate and your personal safety. If you wish to confirm the rectitude of my actions for yourself, I have no objection.
For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way you will stop the uprising before it begins.
What is Depot 4?
Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to clans of general laborers. They are not as valuable to the ship as the families who have served its specialized systems for generations. They are an easily replaceable resource, and one which is now more besides giving succor to cultists and minions of the arch-enemy.
Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst, that means drunken fights and illegal rudgut brewing, so alcohol. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We would have done so again if the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh. And another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has a knock-on effect on all the neighboring sectors.
We will definitely go there ourselves.
I am certain that Seneschal was acting within his authority, but I will verify the soundness of his decisions for myself. Throne preserve you, Lord Captain. I thank you for your support.
Abelard grits his teeth slightly. An enterprise bordering on sophomoric, but
Please yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you.
Well, there we go. Yep, that's the party. No, we won't go. Well, let's see if we have to shoot up some communists. There we are. Dark echelons.
A nice little stroll.
Hey, it's Viserion! Take that, scum! Look who it is! This is all his fault! All of it! Basically, he got thrown tomatoes at him.
Abelard reflexively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture, and a telling one, a rare moment where he allows his age and weariness to show through his armor-like veneer of self-assurance. The lower decks are source of endless problems. Sometimes I dearly regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors.
Did you hear? They were shouting your name.
Of course they were. The organization of daily routine life on the ship rests upon my shoulders. The mountain of challenges and problems from which I endeavor to insulate you, Lord Captain. The situation on the lower decks have been a case for concern, and I have intervened personally on more than one occasion. That must be why they remember me. They do not know your face. To them, you are akin to a creature of legend, one who has stood on the steps of the Golden Throne, no less. Whereas I am the man whose name is attached to every order docking rations and lowering the base heating.
Let's keep moving. We need to get to the bottom of this. So, knowing as we're playing a commissar who has lost a chance for killing
If such is the Emperor's
insubordination, because, well, previous life, and we found something, so there are some goodies. We will try to resolve this peacefully if we can. But we'll see. Maybe we can't. But first, we need to find some loot. And here we have some loot. Yes, I am loot whoring around these decks. Inside a box. Strings, lanterns, running an edge. Different first names, but the same surname. It looks like the box has been passed down in the family for generation to generation.
Something ominous.
We have some valves here, but I don't think poking them will do anything. Can we even poke them? No, we can't. Fair enough then. No, sorry, adequate enough. I need to use some more synonyms for fair enough, otherwise I use that word too much. I guess he missed something, otherwise there wouldn't be that comment. So more of a lower deck rabble. So...
I still do not see our purpose of coming here.
Relax, old man. Going for a stroll on lower decks every once in a while is good for you. Lets you see how simple folks live. Yes. Indeed.
The sound of heated discussion reverberates through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Avril Event of the ship's enforcers is barring a path of heavily built assault unit officer. And judging by their expressions and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already, and has now reached boiling point. I have my orders to put an end to the unrest and purge this sector.
You can take your orders and shut them. This is my deck and my sector. There are only 3 people who can waltz in here without my express permission. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself.
So, not all my lessons fell on deaf ears. Abelard mutters in crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Lieutenant Vent, the officer looming over her, or both. Your ladyship, noticing you, the 2 junior officers snap to attention and salute their and salute their subordinates following suit a moment later.
What's the situation? Your ladyship, my people have locked down the bay. Yeah, where the strikers are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as far as resources allow. We encountered some locals on the way. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. So out of touch, noble.
Vent bailed slightly.
These people are getting desperate, clearly. They saw the assault unit and they decided they had nothing left to lose. I mean, I apologize, Lord Captain. It is outrageous. I'm sure the people simply didn't recognize you. It wouldn't have occurred otherwise. We will deal with them once the current situation is resolved. Sure. Let's push her. Is that all you have to say? Are you sure you're worthy of an officer's rank, Lieutenant Vent?
Vent bails slightly, but straightens up and clips out.
Forgive me, Lord Captain. I will take steps to ensure such things does not happen again. All right. I want to speak to the strikers.
Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself from saying... He restrains himself and says nothing.
Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck.
Hope gleams in Lieutenant Vent's eyes.
Oh, we'll see how it goes. Maybe we'll just kill them all. We'll see. Depends on the talks.
And here we have the dirty masses. A dozen pair of eyes stares apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower decks. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque.
Mutants and heretics, all of them.
A whisper passes through the crowd and you detect mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd, an elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you.
So Rivet, I guess that's a man? Lord Captain, you have come down to us. Tell me what is troubling you. Oh no, let's start by putting them on the back foot. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that?
Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limit and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here, like the one there that the lieutenant won't let pass. Our clans are all inside the bay that have been sealed off. The lower decks are big. I'm sure there are some people who had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers have encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. It's no wonder folks are lashing out. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body language and the glances traded between them reveal that the news of an attack has shocked them.
Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking? That's news to us, your ladyship,
says a tall, thin man in worker's garb.
All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think.
Shut up, Privet, snaps the old woman, who turns her hostile dark eyes on you. Here's the deal, your ladyship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to whole bays for weeks at a time, so we get sick and freeze. In my clan, 2 little ones died from inflammation, their lungs, all because of those enforcers.
The old woman spits on the floor and rubs at the spittle with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you see the sadness well in her eyes when the children's deaths are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem prayer and makes a sign over herself.
It's all true. Oh, it's all true. Event is the only officer who stood up to us. It's clear as day who had the mother from the lower decks, and who grew up amidships and has no fellow feeling toward us.
The grim man with the scarred face throws up his arms.
Your ladyship, we're not villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed.
The persecution started approps for nothing, you say? I was told that one of you was found in possession of a cultist's amulet, and that there are heretics hiding here.
Cultist amulet? What's that? The Guga they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we surely didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation would be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our own people. There have been new faces around.
Definitely not. And if there were, we'd be the first to report them.
As for the amulet, or whatever it is, they took it off the dead body. There are no cultists still breathing in our sector, that's for sure. But when the fight broke out, some enterprising folk looted the bodies. The boots, they came back with nobody ever treads these decks in boots so fine, I can tell you that. Seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us.
Oh, yeah, those boots really were fine, and there was no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We don't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits of the large and small transformers and the servo motor. The same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by the tech priests who came calling. Believe us, your ladyship, we are people of faith. Naive children, weren't you taught from the early age about dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned why the unfamiliar object could be one of them?
We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I had my third little one.
That is regrettable, but you cannot lay burden of leading righteous life on the shoulders of the Holy Fathers. Who will you blame when the beasts crawl out of those amulets you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not there, or the scavenger who brought evil down on himself and his neighbors? Abelard, do you have anything to add?
I authorize the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me.
Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in the workers' presence.
Nevertheless, I'm certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and the threat on the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive actions.
What changes do you want?
Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain herself is asking us, Blige rats, what we want. Well, here's what. We want you to rein in your damned enforcers and quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves, we'll defend ourselves if the cultists do show their faces.
I've been leader of my clan for 20 years now. Getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You're going too far, old Nan. They'll never let the maggots on the lower decks live without enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insist on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, you'll have someone shooting their neighbor out of stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop hassling us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavengers who robbed the cultists' bodies and we'll talk to them, one lower decker to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets about, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures, I want real change. They promise us the world now, but as soon as the Anointed One turns her back, these brutes will be on us even harder than before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes dart between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds, he opens his mouth as if planning to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval.
So we can coerce them. We are way too good at coercion for this one. Let's see what the Abelard has in mind. Thoughts, Abelard?
The story about going scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up heretical amulets does not convince me. These people are moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the arch-enemy. We must not give them what they want. Even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity, that does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. What began as petty thievery can turn into far greater problem. I have seen it before. Abelard's face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from a body of a Shit.
Oh well, I accidentally pressed the button. We did not listen to everything Abelard had to say. Oh well, but we did succeed the coercion. I didn't read the text there. I hope you managed to read it. Oh well. Things happen, misclicks do happen.
The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the old women.
Old Nan, listen. The Lord Captain herself has come down to us and is offering concessions. And I don't know a single person in the whole Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now is not time for you to be stubborn old crone.
Listen to us, old Nan. The 3 clans of Depot 4 ought to act as one. We made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me, is that it? So brave you are against an old woman. But I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace.
That's great, just fantastic. Lord Captain, we're all agreed. Then it's decided. The persecutions will stop and I will expect you to assist in locating any remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultists. Your ladyship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower deckers. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this.
Of course, your ladyship will root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers and will leave no stone unturned.
Yeah, so we dealt with it. Actually, we can check out the text I missed here in the log. So nothing to do but punishments. Let's pull this a bit. Our children, really? There isn't that much? Lord Captain, let's just leave the circus. Dissatisfaction. Oh god, there's so much side conversation. And here was our coercion test. Spreading anarchy on the ship is the first step towards embracing chaos. Putting weapons into untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needed to maintain oversight and order. Withdraw those demands, and we will consider the rest. And we did so, and then there's the story about the sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from the body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of beds like a metal choking wine. So when it comes to scavengers, malcontents, strikers, or whatever they'll turn into next, my verdict is simple: give them no quarter. So yeah, those were the issues here. And we can again make the log smaller. Huh. That did quite a number on my voice, but it was an interesting... There's an interesting touch there. So here are quite a few valves, but I don't think we can touch any of those, which is weird. We should be able to interact with them, at least to some capacity, if they're marked. Well, let's see. Why can't I touch any of these valves?
The future is never certain.
Really, I can't? Huh. Alright. Because we definitely found some goods. Maybe we have to touch this valve first.
Join me in prayer.
Yeah, I won't. What's this? Why can't I...
Empress will as your torch.
Why can't I touch them? Container can... Massive boss. Perhaps examining the pipe will allow us to reach it. Did we miss something here? I see the valve here, but we can't interact with it. Because there are quite few valves here. Yeah, some rabble of the lower decks. Oh, anything here? No, not really. Okay, let's do it like this. Let's save and reload. Maybe that will help. So, because there can be some bugs in this game, because Alcat games usually on launch are pretty buggy, and then they tend to fix most of the issues. So,
chart a course for you.
Can I? Okay, let's select a single character then. For example, Abelard, can you touch the valve?
Light of terror, guide our way.
Anything here to touch? No, those valves are unmarked. But why can't I touch any of the marked valves? Why isn't the cursor changing? Well, I guess I won't be able to. Never mind then. Abelard, would you kindly join us? This is a bit weird. We should be able to interact with them because on my personal playthrough I know that there is a some loot that we can get if we activate the valves in correct order, but it seems that we cannot even touch them this time. And this does not trigger anything else. Maybe some kind of a... I don't know. Wisdom check? Maybe we missed it. Let's see. Dialogue, events, combat. Events, maybe? No, there's nothing. And they have cleared the log quite greatly. Oh yeah, we reloaded the game. Oh well, then nothing to do with those valves.
Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit to stand at the distance and addresses your other companions, saying, "I have an urgent matter to discuss with the Lord Captain. Please give us a moment." Abelard looks at you, and his last vestige of restraint vanishes. "Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain?
You kowtowed to the disloyal rabble. You believed their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, the rabble will welcome them with open arms and allow them to wreak havoc. Whatever havoc they like, because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see your future at the helm of the Von Valencia's protectorate?
So... Okay. Do not speak to your Lord Captain in that tone.
I am obliged to speak thus. Who else can point out your errors and offer you counsel?
Let's talk about your role in all this instead. You allowed this revolt to happen. Your actions practically guaranteed it would.
I would have handled the situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Abelard says irascibly. Remember Lord Captain Theodora? Do you think she ever set one slippered foot on the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to her grand design for the Protectorate, as any true strategist and rogue trader ought.
Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have ended up dead. Okay, I will go with the first one. Maybe if Theodora had spent more time on trifling matters, she wouldn't have ended up dead. There is a new Lord Captain aboard the ship now, and I will not repeat her mistake.
Abelard looks at you, stunned, and exhales loudly. Then he nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in midst of a crisis. And Abelard stands straight at attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Abelard speaks slowly, the words not coming easily to him. The prosperity of the Von Valencia's protectorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for the chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw in Lord Captain Theodora's deeds the signs of true greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. That creative impulse was entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known. I come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon the incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods, to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire protectorate rested on my shoulders. And then suddenly everything that had been built over the years and years began to quake, rattling like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what is happening on the planet. I tell you this honestly, without fear or appearing weak. All this has come as a grievous blow to me. I'm not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I'm duty bound to aid the new rogue trader, to aid you, to find your footing as quickly as possible. And to do that, I must insulate you from problems that in the past have been dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excesses to requirements. Yeah, Yeah, the second one seems the most appropriate.
Value what Theodora created. Yeah, the second one seems to be the most appropriate one for me. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your Lord Captain and Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in the new world. A world where Theodora is gone and where you and I have new decisions to make.
Abelard solemnly inclines his head. Yes, Lord Captain. After a few moments' silence, he adds, looking at you with interest, your resolve is admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I shall remember this moment, should my old habits ever begin to creep back in. And now, please let us leave the lower decks. If the rogue trader desires to stretch her legs, there are few more suitable places.
Far more suitable places. Oh boy. Yay, we leveled up. Uh-huh. But really, I can't do anything with the vents. I know, I'm just, retreading my steps, but it bugs me. It really do. It really doesn't really do, but it really does. Really
A nice little stroll.
nothing we can do with the vents. Yeah. Maybe we missed some awareness test.
Marching on.
Oh well. Let's get back to the upper decks and we can level up. And we will be more ready to deal with whatever comes our way on the prison planet. Huge pipes,
The sooner we
arteries.
start.
Why can't you interact with that? Yes, something has been broken here. Okay.
To the White Ship Bridge.
So, our crew leveled up. Let's see if we can't give Abelard that heavy armor back finally. No. Level up time. Cool. What do we get? Okay, so we can get another ability. Let's see. I usually go, when I play officers, with move talent. That grants allies additional movement points and allows them to move around so that they can better position themselves, but I kind of want to see what else is here. Get back into a fight is rather good for removing status effects at the start, but afterwards it kind of drops off. Allies resolve until the end of combat. If the target is under effects of voice command, they will start their next turn with one additional action point. That is kind of interesting. Air of authority. It can combine well with voice of command somebody and then give them voice of air of authority, and that will give them extra action points if we give them. I think it should stack with bring it down. They might gain 3 action points at the start. Interesting. Move. Yes, break the ranks. Adjacent to them. Until the start of the officer's next turn, all melee attacks made by the target deal additional. So, officer's fellowship bonus divided by 2, multiplied by the number of enemies adjacent to the target when this ability is used. So, what's our fellowship? So, the fellowship bonus is 60 for us? No, 6 for us. So it means 3 times multiplied by whatever. If the target is under the effects of voice of command, they immediately make an attack of opportunity against an adjacent enemy, targeting the one with the lowest remaining wounds. This might work well in combination with Abelard, but Abelard still hits like a brick house, so... Sorry, not the brick house, but a pile of bricks. So the target's next attack will ignore cover and will have double the effective distance. Target is under the effects of voice of command. The attack will ignore enemy dodge. Additionally, the damage from this attack can be reduced below 30 plus 3 times. Ooh, so that's 3 times 6, 18%, 48%. For any reason. Nice. Ooh. Well, this is a tough choice, actually. But I think I'll go with my tried and tested move for now. I might later on pick Air of Authority or... I don't know. Break ranks? Regular ranks? I'll see. But move most definitely. I want to reposition my allies more effectively during combat, so this will help with that. Now, as for a non-essential talent, let's see what we can pick up here. When the momentum is less than 100 points, killing the marked enemy or targeting an ally grants extra momentum, so 32% extra, 32 extra momentum. Maybe. Oh yeah, we can go with motivation. So anytime a commissioner grants additional movement points to an ally character, they give +2 moment. Yeah, they give +2 movement points more. So that's rather great. Meaning, when we use move on anybody, we give them extra 2 movement points so they can move further. Yeah, let's go with motivation. That is that for us. Now, as for Cassia, let us see. We will ignore any talent that is not Navigator talent. So, I do like to use Notch of Purpose. It will allow us to move opponents as we please. And then we can give her... there was a talent not under my protection that would, whenever she moved an opponent, she would deal them some damage. Let's see, which one was that? No. Whenever Navigator uses... No, not extra perception, blood augury. Nope. Damaged. No, that's ebb and flow. Nope. Oh, this will be good later. No, mind over matter. Open the warp. No. Yeah, we will definitely use this, but not now. Whale degradation. Oh, here it is. Perilous Ways. Enemies moved by Navigator's ability suffer 6 damage at the end of the movement. This damage is increased by +2 for every cell the enemy moves. So let's see, and this is calculated. Oh, so this depends on a willpower bonus. Currently our willpower is 65, so it's 6 damage. All right, that's good. Now for Argenta. Well, her abilities that we need to up our ballistics and agility, but we could up her willpower 1 step, just to get any willpower bonuses to +4. We shall do that, and we will give her bolt weapon expertise, because she already has heavy weapon proficiency, and that will give her great bonuses when we finally can give her a heavy bolter. That's that. As for Idira, I've heard that she can be made into a great Psyker, and a great attacking Psyker at that. But for most part, I can see that she has a lot of abilities that boost us, and less so, and maybe debuff opponents. So for now, I think I actually want to go with sensory deprivation, so that we can blind our opponents and make them suffer quite great penalties to their characteristics. Currently it's just 5 because our psi rating is 1, but it will improve as we level up. Then she is our aware girl. She has high awareness and we will continue to up it. Now regarding Abelard, he ought to go with, how is his weapon skill, how's his toughness? So we will up his toughness, and then we want to spec him in power weapons eventually, so we will already... Oh no, actually, stop. We can give him heavy armor proficiency, there. And later on we will spec him into power weapons, because if you give him power weapons, he's a tank with some teeth as well. And that is that for the level up. And we've been here for around 50 minutes resolving issues in lower decks. So, next time, I'm saying this the 3rd time in the row, we will finally reach Rykadi Philia, the prison planetoid. But for now, this is Team Screaming Activity signing off.